Oh, all right, you guys. Whew. Oh, this has been amazing. Oh, today has been so good, you guys. This has been a great stream. We're going to hit right up into an interview that Lady Snipeshot did with Viking Dad on running a VP contest. They both have done it before, and I'm so very excited to learn more about it. Let's just jump right in.
Hi everyone, I'm Lady Snipeshot, and if you're just joining us, welcome to the Gametographers virtual photographers convention and annual Extra Life stream. For those who have for those of us, excuse me, who have been hanging out with us, I hope you've enjoyed your time this far. And if it looks like I'm reading this, I am. It's Viking Dad and I are recording this pretty late, but to go on with that, this is a pre-recorded session, so we won't be able to comment to the chat, so I do apologize about that. But anyway, let's get on with it. Again, like I said, I am our guest tonight, or it's not tonight. Tonight is tonight for me. But our guest for this hour is Viking Dad 278, and we're going to chat about community events and what it's like organizing them. And without further ado, how are you tonight, Viking Dad?
I'm doing well. I'm also tired, so it's okay.
Yes. And by the way, do you want to say your actual name, or do you just want to go by Viking Dad?
Yeah, my name is Kevin. A lot of people know me by Kevin. Viking Dad too. It's either or.
So where did the name Viking Dad come from?
It was just a simple. I couldn't think of a Twitter name, so I combined my like for Viking history, and I'm a dad, and then I just combined my kids' birthdays at the end.
Nice, nice. Well, some of you guys know that, most of you guys know me as Lady Snipeshot, but I'm also Rachel Renee, so you can call me either. Either or is good. So during this conversation, call me Lady, call me Snipes, call me Rachel, don't care. um, so both of us have actually um, had some community events, hosted some kind of like some challenges, contests, things like that. So that's what we're going to kind of be talking about tonight or during this session, just to kind of like talk about our experiences, how it was putting all of those things together. Uh, um, I haven't actually done a contest or an event in a very long time. Well, I take that back. We had the Gametographers 30-day challenge not long ago, the newest installment of that. I think we've had like 3 versions of that, but it's been a really long time since I've actually held a contest like I held before. But before we actually get into Days Gone Week, which was your event that you hosted, tell me a little bit about yourself and your virtual photography journey.
Yeah. I began virtual photography with Days Gone. Everything kind of began with Days Gone. Started playing it when it released last year, and I've just kind of went from there. I've taken some shots in other games here and there, but I'm 99% Days Gone.
Nice, nice. Before Days Gone, what were you playing before that? Before it came out?
um, I was mainly a sports gamer for a while until I found like a Batman Arkham series, and then from there I just kind of went to like other series like Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, The Last of Us. But I never delved into the photo mode really. Maybe here and there to take a snapshot, but that was about it. So I didn't really get into it until Days Gone and started learning actually what the settings are and what contrast is, and just figuring out all the little things and just doing a lot of trial and error myself.
Nice. Nice. So, were you ever like a photographer in real life, or is like this is your like first experience with photography and first experience with virtual photography?
This is my first experience with photography.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually making me want to do real life photography though. I want to, get a camera and everything besides just my phone. And because now if I go take a walk outside, in the park, I'm like, ooh, I need to take the shot. Like, so now it went from the video game world to the real life world.
Nice. So you're outside taking walks and you're like framing stuff up.
Exactly.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
That's interesting because I came from a photography background. So like whenever I found photo mode, I was like, whoa, for that. So like what was your like was it something that you just like saw pictures of and then you're just like I'm going to play with the photo mode because this is what other people are doing. I want to try it out, see if I can do it. Or, how was that first interaction with photo mode for you?
I always knew of like photo mode. When I played in Batman Arkham Knight, they had photo mode. Horizon Zero Dawn. But like I said, it was mainly me just opening it up and just clicking a screenshot, not really adjusting any sliders, not moving much, just kind of like me capturing for myself, like, oh, I've been here in this part of the game.
Uh-huh.
Um, but once Days Gone, I shared my first couple shots, um, and I don't know, it just something just clicked. I don't know if it's because how in depth the photo mode is with the advanced settings and so much you can do.
Hmm.
Um, but I think a lot of it sparked just from my passion and love for the game,
Hmm.
and I wanted just to sink hours and hours into this game, or now over a year and a half of into this game. And I don't know, it's just a way for me to share my passion and love for Days Gone.
I've had a question about Days Gone for you for a while. And like, my question is, what is it about Days Gone that you love so much?
There's a lot, um, but I guess the main thing that I take away from it is the story. It's the story between Deacon and Sarah and his hope of finding his wife. Um, the way their relationship correlates to kind of like me and my wife and how we've grown and stuff. It mimics a lot, but there's special story beats that also resonate with my personal life. There's a puppy in the game named Jack, and Deacon brings him back to Boozer, and it was almost like rescuing a puppy or a dog somewhere from a shelter or something. And I had a very similar experience with a dog that I rescued, and she actually got diagnosed with cancer and passed away during the whole beginning of me playing Days Gone.
Oh,
And then I had my son. My son was born like a week after Days Gone released. So with like a lot of the personal connection and then just the events from outside life connected to inside into the game and then just kind of branched out from there.
wow, that's intense because like you're like so like intertwined within this game. That's like super cool. I feel
Yeah,
that way a lot about like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I felt probably, I mean, obviously not quite as, wrapped up in it as you, but, with Days Gone. But like I really got into Death Stranding once it hit like a certain part of the story. And that was like when Death Stranding, like the opening trailers and everything that they advertised the game with, when I got to that point, it just like,
right.
and I love those moments in games because Warframe did that for me too. But you have to like hit that point that just like turns in your heart.
Yeah,
It like just grips you, and then you're just stuck. You're just like,
yeah.
okay, I'm in. I'm in. So,
Exactly.
but that's crazy. That's awesome though. So that is actually you've actually answered a lot of like the first questions that I had just in that short conversation. But um, and I'm guessing that that's the glue that kind of has kept you like stuck to that game. For me, with virtual photography, I kind of like like all over the place trying different games and, you know, doing different things. And
Yeah.
like I'll pick one up and put it down and like never touch it, or
Right.
touch it like months and months and months later. And people are probably like, well, you took like 5 photos in that game and then you quit.
Yeah.
But like you have like stickability with this game. And, you know, is that the reason why that you've like, you know, your attachment to it, is that why you've stayed with it, or is it more than that now?
Um, I'm a little surprised myself that I've stayed with like, especially like the photos for this long.
Hmm.
Usually I'm like, I finish a story. Maybe I'll go for like the platinum trophy in PlayStation if I really enjoy it. But other than that, then I'll just kind of move on to the next game.
Hmm.
With this game, there's so many factors, like I said, with the personal stuff, but also like um, I've gotten a lot of great opportunities with this game,
Hmm.
like through talking to developers from Ben Studio.
Hmm.
They've been very supportive and always very friendly and interact with me. But I created the blog in the very beginning just because I just got so uh, up, upset. We'll use obsessed with the game. So I created a blog and I started writing a little short stories because I was just into the world at that moment.
Hmm.
And from there, it just kind of kept branching off, and then I kind of became like the Days Gone guy. So
Hmm.
like, um, I feel like that's what the page is, and that's what people expect. But honestly, I just have fun with it. I'm constantly trying to think of new ideas for Days Gone. You know, even this past weekend, I was playing the game and I ran into something I've never ran into for a year and a half now. So
Really?
it's like, yeah, it's like cool little things like that. I don't know. It's a game that I think every player gets maybe once in a lifetime. You just get this game that you just can't put down, that you're just so connected with. You're connected to the characters, you're connected to the story. You may even be connected to the developers or the community, the people that you surround yourself with on social media. And
Hmm.
it's kind of been all that wrapped into one, and it's just made for an experience that I just wouldn't have thought of when I first put in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that interesting about photo mode is that it like, because I've always been the type too that, you know, you once you finish a game, you finish a game, you know, and that's it. But like photo mode just, it gives you some, it turns it into more of a game. Like it seals the deal. It like draws you into the game over and over and over again, because you find moments that you're just like, I just love this character so much and I just want to see if I can get it in this lighting where you've
Right.
got this like black background and these shadows and you're like just this epic photo of your favorite characters, you know. And so it's just like, there's just something about photo mode that just grabs you. um
Yeah, I think it does. I think it immerses you more. I think it can you connect with the game more because
mhm,
especially a game that you love. You're not going to take a photos of a game you don't love because you're not photography. Art. Doing art is also doing what you love. Is also doing the passion. So if you're not going to do something that you don't love, so when you're taking pictures of your favorite characters or your favorite even moments in the game, I don't know, it just brings an extra layer to
mhm.
your experience.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Before we get on like with the more community-based questions and about Days Gone Week, um, in real life, like if you go back to what you were talking about with real life photography, what would you want to take photos of, like in real life?
Landscapes. I'm a big like I love sitting and looking at mountains and looking at rivers and even just walking through like woods and stuff. I like the nature, so it would definitely be shots like that.
Nice, nice. Cool, cool. I love landscapes. Whenever I started doing virtual photography, I was doing a lot of landscapes. But in my real life photography, I tend to do more like macro shots and stuff like that, and like weird like textures and things like that. They
Okay,
don't like match at
right.
all. It's really weird. So, and I think maybe that has a lot to do with the accessibility that virtual photography gives you, because you can you don't have as many constraints, on what you're doing, whether it's based on your budget or your camera and things like that. So,
Right.
but so to get on into Days Gone week, what was, obviously the game was, your inspiration, but what made you say, okay, now's the time that, I want to host something bigger. I want to do something with this, something more for the community.
Um, well, I knew it was coming up on the first year anniversary, which is always kind of big for games. My blog was growing. I was, getting developers on for interviews and stuff. The Days Gone community was kind of growing. There's a lot of us that are pretty close knit. We private message each other all the time and everything. But the Days Gone week, I had it under wraps for a very, very long time. It was very hard to keep a secret. Um, but at the time, I was messaging the community manager of Ben Studio a lot and telling him what I'm planning and stuff. But it really all boils down to I wanted to do it just for my love of the game and to just celebrate that with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone else to come into it and really have fun with it. And it was at a time where it luckily came into a great time because we had COVID just starting and people were locked in our houses and no one had nowhere to go. We couldn't do nothing. We couldn't socialize. And it just hit at the perfect time where we could all celebrate video games that we love in a positive manner. Just sharing art, talking, and yeah, it was a fun week.
Nice. Yeah, it was a fun week, and I was so honored that you asked me to be a part of it and being able to read your stories on my podcast. That was super cool. The stories that you wrote, I was so just wowed by the stories and the journal entries that you had. It was really cool to read those characters and to kind of in a sort of way become your characters, by reading them and stuff. And in both of them were so different. One was about the forgive me, the what are
the Rippers?
Yes, I was wanting to say rippers, but I was scared to say rippers. I'm scared it's going to be wrong, but I would have been right, so I should have just said it.
Right.
But the rippers, and then your other character that was just more kind of like in the world of trying to survive, and just the experience that your characters had, they were just so different, but they both resonated with me. And I still have yet to play the game, not because I don't want to play the game, although I don't want to deal with hordes. I get scared.
They're
really
terrifying, but they're fun.
I got the game because I think at one point it went on sale, and I got it for my fiance, which is now my husband.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm used to saying fiance, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can call him my husband now. Space Dad. But I got it for him, and because I knew he liked that type of game, and he had been wanting to play it. But I do want to circle back to it, and I just haven't, just because of all the other things going on and all the other titles. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm so far behind.
Yep.
And I don't really exactly remember my original point. What was I saying before this? I hate when that happens. My thoughts just fall out of my head. I think I was talking about the characters that you had.
Oh yeah. I don't even know either.
Of course, that's what happens when it's 1 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've already had a full day. But like, what were those particular characters? Like, what made you write those characters?
With Days Gone and the story that they wrote, mainly John Garvin, he's the creative director and writer of Days Gone. They laid it out so it was so well done, because so you have the story of Deacon and Sarah, but you have this bigger story of the government agency Nero and like the zombie apocalypse, which freakers in this. The outbreak, and you visit these Nero trail, like little buildings, and you get little pieces of the world every time you visit. You get like little reportings, and you can hear kind of what's happening as the outbreak started. You get little pieces of characters that actually there's this one character you learn about throughout the whole story through these little recordings and stuff. And just create a lot of open possibilities to write more to the story, whether that was before, after, or during the game itself. Because once the game starts, you start off 2 years after the outbreak starts.
Mm.
So as I'm exploring the world and just playing it and riding past some of these set pieces, riding past a character that's maybe dead on alongside the road on a tree, it just kind of pushed my creative thoughts. I like to write,
Mm-hmm.
so I just literally started writing. I had some ideas in my head, the journal entries. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so I always loved the perspective that they play.
Mm-hmm.
Are we really following the good guys? How is there any good guys left in this world? Um, from the villain's perspective, they're kind of the good guy, and from their perspective, you're the bad guy. So it's all about perspective in these apocalyptic worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wrote about her name is Katie, the ambusher, you run into ambush camps throughout the whole game. You can take on these ambush camps. Sometimes when you're riding on the road, they'll set up traps to knock Deacon off his bike, and then you've got to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm playing this, I'm just thinking, like, what? Why does this person have to do this? Why do they have to try to trap, bikers on the road and take them off their bike? What are they trying to get? How?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they out there trying to survive? Um, so when I was looking at characters and story building like that, like I said, I just like to write and just kind of dove into it, and it's fun. It's a fun little hobby to do.
Yeah. Do you have any of the developers commented or anything about your stories in particular?
I don't think they're actually allowed to read it. I
What?
know, I
Oh,
know, I know the writer can't because
mm,
conflict of interest. They don't want to steal possible
mm,
ideas, stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, so I don't think the writer can. I don't know if the others can or not. They've liked it and stuff before, but yeah, I don't know about the writing part.
Oh, that's so sad because it's so good. Because I could totally see like a branch off of Days Gone going with a different group. That would be so
Right?
so cool.
I mean, if they ever wanted to bring me on to write a story quest or something, I'd be glad to.
Oh, that would be so dope. You never know. You never will
You
know what
never
could happen.
know.
Well, wow. That's so cool though. That's so good. I'm assuming it was similar with the Rippers and everything, just trying to get a perspective from the Rippers camp and stuff.
Yeah, because the Rippers are such a unique beast. They're
Yeah.
it's a cult. But
Mm,
how do these people go from like us, normal everyday life, to that? How
yeah.
what type of extreme things have to happen? Is it how they were raised, how
Hmm.
their background is, what the type of things they dealt with in life, whatever that is. It's just how do you go from point A to point Z on the human spectrum,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that
Absolutely.
things like that are just kind of fun to explore.
Yeah, the other idea with that is it's funny because you can say, oh, I would for sure be in this group, or I would
Mhm.
totally, but you don't know until you're actually like in it and you're feeling that pressure and you're like it changes you like you um this is a stupid Stupid note. I I was in a cage match once, and I learned a lot about myself from doing that. It was stupid. It was so stupid. Came out with a broken rib. It was bad. I probably had. It was bad. And I suffered a lot after that broken rib for probably about a good month and a half. But like when you put yourself in situations where it tests your mettle, and it tests your courage and things like that, you don't know which way you're going to go until you're in that. And I found out that I don't like to be kicked. I don't like that. But I can hold my own a little bit. But how do you think you would fare in a world like that? Where do you think you would be at?
I think I would be more of like you watch The Walking Dead?
I have.
I think I would be I really do think I'd be more of like the Rick Grimes type thing, like his nickname in the beginning is like Officer Friendly, right?
Uh-huh.
So, you're the nice everyday man, you take care of your family, but there's a point in the apocalypse where that danger comes to your family. And
Mhm.
then I think that's where I would just lose it.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like I would be a lot like one of the characters that tend to be a loner because
Yeah.
I'm such an introvert. I'm like, y'all, I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Right.
I'll come in, I'll bring you some food, that I hunt, whatever. I'll just come back and forth. I'm gonna live in a hovel.
You sound like a drifter. You sound just like Deacon right there in the beginning.
Well, there we go. Oh, that's so funny. And that's totally not on conversation, but a
Right.
great conversation regardless. So interesting. So to kind of talk about more about Days Gone week, you had talked about, you had it under wraps for a very long time. Like how long did you have it under wraps?
So the 1 year anniversary was April 26th.
Hmm.
I chose to do a week to lead up to the anniversary because the anniversary landed on a Sunday.
Hmm.
So I started planning it. I had like initial ideas in like December, January,
Hmm.
and then I really started kind of nailing down those ideas, and then that's kind of where I started talking to the community manager from Bed Studio and laying out. I'm like, okay, this is kind of what my plan. I don't know what you guys can do or can't do, or So he helped me a little bit of like, hey, for like interviews, send me your questions, we'll get them lined up, blah blah blah. Um, a lot of it was I felt lucky and thankful, especially for like the actors. I got to interview Jim Peary, who plays Boozer, one of the main characters, and I also got to interview Eric Allen Kramer, who played Iron Mike, another main character. Um, and it was more of just like contacting these people. It's really just sending them an email and asking them, hey, would you want to do this?
Hmm.
And either you don't get a response, they say, oh no, sorry, or they say yes. Like, one of three things can happen. But luckily, I people from Bend, the actors I contacted, no one ever shut me down. They're always like,
Excellent.
yeah, well, let's do this. Send me what you got. So the interviews were always like the big catalyst for the week. I
Hmm.
was trying to do because I had also the lead open world designer from Ben Studio, Eric Jensen, who does a ton for Ben Studio and Days Gone.
Hmm.
So each one I had like laid out. I had Eric Monday, Jim Wednesday, and then Eric Allen Kramer Thursday or Friday. But those things were because they consisted of a lot of work of getting the questions down, making sure I don't sound stupid, making sure I'm asking good questions, stuff like that. But yeah, back to the thing. Yeah, January is about when I started really planning it.
Wow. Have you ever done anything like that before?
No. That was that was my first. In the beginning, it wasn't going to be as big as it was going to be.
Uh-huh.
But I'm a very ambitious person, and once I get with one idea, my ideas start branching out, and then I'm, and then like 3 months later, I'm like, wow, what did I do? But it was more of a fun, like, what did I do? Like, holy crap, this went from nothing to now. Okay, this is going to be something. This is, I think people are going to like this. They're going to enjoy this, and yeah, it was so much fun to put together. It was a lot of work. I mean, most of my free time went towards Days Gone Week for that from January to April.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure I was doing it right. I had the blog, which was like the foundation. So I had a spot to make the announcement,
Mm-hmm.
to put a schedule up, um, to put all the information people need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, between the actors, developers contacting them, then I started contacting streamers. So we had a lot of live streams during that week. Every single day of the week, there's people streaming on Twitch, YouTube, everywhere. And then I started contacting a couple of the community members that I know really love Days Gone, saying, "Hey, you want to put together some type of, video or, something to share why this game meant so much to you, why you loved it, thanking the devs, something like that."
Mm-hmm.
So of course, everybody I asked, they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right, you have to promise me you don't say a word to anybody." But they all kept it under wraps. Um, a lot of things I saw opportunities where um, one of my friends on there, she sent out a tweet asking how she should do like a giveaway,
Mm-hmm.
and her giveaway was a Days Gone Collector's Edition. So I messaged her on the low. I'm like, "Hey, I have something that we can do to get your collector's edition out, and I think create a lot bigger audience and get more people involved and stuff like that." So she's like, "Yeah, yeah." So we talked about like setting rules and setting, what regions is it open to? Um, are you playing this? If you're playing this ship, that put in that cost for yourself. Um, how are you running the contest? Stuff like that. Um, then it was contacting a major cosplayer. He does all the Days Gone cosplay, does great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like contacting him. Hey, what can we do? How can we collaborate? So it's more of just me contacting these people. Hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to get involved? If so, what can I do to help? I'm going to list everything on the blog, exactly what it is, bringing people to your page, um, and just making a fun week out of it.
Nice. That's I was so impressed by the organization that you had with that. I'm good at ideas. I'm not good at execution. And everybody in the VP community knows it. I know you guys do. I know you guys like, man, she has good ideas, but she sucks at doing it. Like I do. So I know this about myself, but you do a great job, like just getting
Thank
it
you.
together, keeping it under wraps. That's gotta be tough. And keeping other people keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, that was a trust exercise.
It's like, don't let me down.
Yeah.
That's funny. Um, I'm looking at my questions to see because it's cool because you're kind of like going into some of the questions that I had. Um, like my next question was, what are some of the steps you had to take to prepare for it? And that was just everything that you had just said. Um, when it came to the developers, like how was that experience for you and just being able to talk with them and just hearing those yeses, like even from the actors and stuff too, like hearing those yeses, what was, because a lot of times I know that we're like developers,
Yeah.
but they're people too. I mean,
Exactly.
I found out that, like, I lived in Hollywood, or like in California for a little bit, and I, was in and out of Hollywood all the time. There's a couple actors that I saw here and there, and the only one that I really freaked out about was Jesse from Full House, because I grew up in the 90s. Um, that's not even his name. But John Stamos.
Yeah, there you go.
But it wasn't until, like, I went to PlayStation Experience it's like several years ago now. But I saw uh, the developers from Herman Hulst and Jarl from Horizon Zero Dawn, and they came into the, like, shop at like the little PlayStation store that they have at the convention. And I was getting ready to go into the store, but they, like, cut off the line. And I was still in the line.
Oh
I was
no.
the next one to go, and
Of
they
course.
walk in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please let me in.
Right?
I'm just like, please let them be there when I leave or get to go in there. Please let them still be there. And as they opened it up, they were walking out. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me?
Of course.
Kidding me. So, we tend to, like, put them up so high. And, I feel like I like putting them there because I love what they do. And I love that they, work so hard at what they create. And it's beautiful, works of art, art that they make. Um, but how is that for you, like, to be able to work with them?
It's been it's been a wonderful experience. Like I said before, I'm very thankful for the opportunities they did give me.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not some big, huge creator or anything. I don't have, you know, a huge amount of following or anything. I'm a small time person, especially when I first contacted them, where I only had a few hundred followers, maybe. I'm not sure. Um, and they still took time to respond to me and to work something out. Um, so that's something I'm really always thankful for because they didn't even have to respond. Most of the time, studios and stuff don't, especially to creators who have a small following because I guess, you know, maybe it's not worth it. I don't know. But it's them big gaming outlets. They're the ones, they get that press because they get their game out to the public easier than what, somebody like us who have just a small following.
Mhm.
So for them to do that was really awesome. My first interview was with the game director Jeff Ross. Um, so when I first emailed the community manager, I said, I have my blog. I would like to do an interview. Um, and like he messaged me back. He's like, yeah, we can try to get set up an interview for you. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So it takes time. Because one, they have to contact whoever you want to interview,
Mhm.
and they obviously have to find time because they're busy making games.
Mhm.
um, and then once you get the okay, and he got back to me, he's like, "Hey, Jeff said yeah, he'll be glad to do it. Send over your questions, and I'll get him to fill them out." I'm like, "Wow." So when I first got him, I'm like, "Really, the game director, coming onto my mini little blog that barely anyone reads?" I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." And
Mhm.
and that's what goes back to why Days Gone means so much to me too, is this connection with the developer, with the team itself at Ben Studio. They've been so, so awesome.
Mhm.
Um, they're always willing to talk and always willing to support me whenever for anything.
Mhm.
And yeah, like you said, they're just normal people. They just have really, really cool jobs.
Yeah, they do.
And they make these worlds that we spend hours and hours on investing ourselves in. And it's so for us to, meet these people that create these, to them, they're like, oh, I'm just a normal person too. But to us, it's like, you created this game that we love so much, and like to that, it's kind of like our way of saying thank you. It's our
Mm.
way of showing our appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was one of the reasons why I did start doing the interviews, because now me personally, I like to dive into like the development process. I really like how it goes from concept art to you know
Hmm.
big set pieces and things you can actually play. Um, but with that and just kind of like learning more about everything, it was just so much fun. Uh, yeah, they're great. Um, yeah, I forget what the original question was.
No, that was good. That was the
Okay.
that's the answer. You took it. um, so in regards to um, like the turnout, how did you feel about the response from the community?
For Days Gone Week,
Hmm.
yeah, very amazed, uh, very happy. I was shocked that it was getting as big as it was getting. Um, it was just me, sharing my love for the game and doing that with the community and doing that with the developers and the actors and just kind of making this, something to show our appreciation. And the response that I got was awesome. A couple of days before the Days Gone week started, I sent something. I'll be like, hey, if you want, if you want to put hashtag Days Gone week next to your name, if you want to, and I attached the Days Gone week like logo thing. I had the picture. If you want
Hmm.
to add this to your header, get ready for the week. And the amount of people that did that was like so heartwarming. Even people that didn't even play Days Gone yet were doing that. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And that was so cool. And that showed me what type of community the Days Gone community and the virtual photography community was. Because a lot of people in the VP community who haven't played Days Gone, like yourself and so many others, did that same exact thing with doing a simple thing of just putting Days Gone week in there next to their name and putting the picture on the profile. And that meant a lot to me because I'm like, that shows, that it is community and people do care about the things you create.
Hmm.
And the developers were jumping on board too. They were adding that. Um, the actors were jumping on board. The composer for Days Gone, Nathan Whitehead, he did the same thing. Like everyone was doing this. It felt like everyone was just uniting for a week for a game during a harsh time in the world, and it was great. And the reception we got, because it was on Twitter, it was on Instagram, it
Hmm.
was on even Reddit, Twitch. I was trying to hit all the platforms as possible, plus the blog,
Hmm.
and yeah, the traffic. So like I can see stats on my blog all the time.
Hmm.
The traffic I got that week on the blog was insane. And like one of the interviews I had with the lead open world designer Eric Jensen, that interview went to lengths I didn't even know. Like I was on my phone, and I have an Android, so if you scroll to the left, you have Google and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And our interview was on Google, and I'm like, whoa, how did it get there? Um, but yeah, the reception was awesome. I was very happy. I didn't. I don't really expect much when I do these things, but when it does get more reception than I think, it's always just a big bonus.
Oh, that's super cool. So I know that the first one was a secret, but will there be another Days Gone week?
Yes, there will.
Hopefully, I'll have played it by then.
Yes, please,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I've got. That's the thing that sucks so bad is that Cyberpunk. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk. I still got to play Ghost. Um, and I have like all these other fun little games that I'm like I just want to play. Now I have to finish Hellblade, which I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can walk through the dark. I don't know if I can handle it.
Oh, such a good game.
I'm gonna do that on my own time, and I don't know how long it'll take, so I'm not gonna probably do that on stream. So, but as far as like organizing things, within the community, there are a lot of like hashtags now, a lot of contests now, a lot of challenges, things like that. I remember when I first started, there were, I saw a couple like GTA contests and things like that, but there wasn't a whole lot of things going on. And that was one of the things that inspired me to even have contests, too, is just because, my love for virtual photography was just like exploding. And I was just like, I just want to share this. I want to encourage people, to get more into, virtual photography and explore it, more and go further with it. And that's what's always, triggered me for, doing challenges and contests. I love teaching, and any way that I can help, people expand their skills to become better is what I like to do. And that's what propels me. But, for people that are looking to potentially, like, they have an idea like you have had with Days Gone, like, I want to do something special for this game that I love so much. What do you recommend, that people do with the steps that you recommend to, create that kind of event?
The simple answer, just do it. Just try. All you can do is try. All you can do is ask. Send emails. Whoever you think uh, you need to send emails to, whoever's community managers. They're there for a reason. They like to interact with the community. They like to, talk about their game and everything. Doing a little research helps. Going into, so say you want to do your game, find out who that community manager is. Most of the time, they have a personal page, and a lot of times the community managers, their DMs are always open. So send a DM, a friendly, positive DM, and tell them your idea. And you never know, they may just respond. And if you get that response, then you're in. Then you just start going from there. And there is going to be rejection. There's going to be when I was playing this, there were things that didn't happen during the week that were supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Couple cool things like I had that I planned, but they fell through, and that's going to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just asking, and it's just doing it and planning it, and whether you even get answers from the dev team itself, do it yourself. Do it with the community around you. Like, just uh, message your friends and like, hey, this is what I'm playing. Do you want to get in? Most of the time, your friends love your game. They're going to want to, and then you just get that going, and then the devs and the bigger audience will notice, and then it will become a thing. Um, Kind of like the precursor, I guess, to Days Gone Week was last year in August, so a few months after the game came out. I put together it was like a big thank you letter to Ben Studio for the game they created and just showing our appreciation. So I did what I was just saying. I contacted like 15 or so people in the community. And they're like, hey, I'm planning to write a thank you letter. Is there a little piece you would like to write, maybe with a BP picture that you took? And I'll put it on my blog. I'm going to put it all as one big letter. And, I got like 15 people doing it. So they wrote something up. They sent it to me. After I got all the people I asked, I put it all on my blog, set it all up, formatted it, put their pictures on there, and then tweeted that out. With the link to the blog and everything. And the thing, it was awesome. The devs were so thankful They were so happy. I'm pretty sure every person at Bend Studio that has a Twitter account responded to that thing because it was heartwarming for them, and because everyone we was just all positive, like just thanking them for the game,
Hmm.
and like that little event type thing I created kind of was like the very very beginnings of Days Gone Week, you could say, and I just put it on steroids.
That's funny. That's awesome. That's really awesome. And for me, just to answer my own question, just like you said, planning, organization, communication, talking to people and just doing it. That's a huge thing and a huge step that a lot of times we overlook. Sometimes we plan and do like organize and whatever, but we don't sometimes just do it, and that is so important in anything that you're doing. So
Right, and
but,
don't be afraid to ask questions.
yeah.
Because it can be intimidating to email, an actor, or to email Santa Monica Studio or something like that. Of course it can, because they're a large company that a lot of times our tweets and stuff go unnoticed because their notifications are flooded with thousands and thousands of people tagging them with pictures and tweeting at
Sure.
them, stuff like that. So like, even if you don't get a response, don't be discouraged, because not like, maybe they didn't like your idea, but maybe they just didn't see it.
Hmm.
So it's always a good idea to maybe even follow up, not bug them like every day. Hey, did you see it?
Yeah.
But just maybe a couple times to make sure they did see it, and but just don't be afraid to ask.
It's true. It made me think when you were saying that a second ago, it made me think, don't do what you don't like. Like if you don't like to be pinged like every 5 minutes, don't
Yeah,
ping people.
exactly.
So, well, I just have two other questions, very short questions, but as far as games that you're playing, because Days Gone 2 is probably a little ways away. Um, so right now, other than Days Gone, what are you playing? Are you playing anything new, or what are you looking forward to?
Lately I've been jumping back into like the older Assassin's Creed games. I'm trying to get ready for Valhalla. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said early, I'm a big Viking Age
Oh
history
yeah,
person. So
yeah,
this is the Assassin's Creed game that I've always wanted.
yeah.
So I went back and I just finished the Ezio collection. So Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelation. Um, what else I play? I'm on Syndicate now.
Mm,
Um, but I just played that new Dark Pictures anthology game, Little Hope. I played
mm.
that on Halloween. It was like a
Oh.
4 hour story, scary story. It was kind of like about like the witch trials and stuff.
Hmm.
Maybe jumped way too much. I'm I'm really a chicken when it comes to those games, but they're fun and they're not fun at the same time.
Yes, yes,
But yeah,
very true.
Valhalla is my most anticipated right now.
How do you feel about Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok?
Oh yes, I'm pumped. Before Days Gone, God of War was my favorite game, so I can't wait to Oh, okay, can't wait.
Dude, I can't wait either. I remember playing God of War when I was young, and it was so funny because the guy that I was seeing at the time, I he would get very frustrated with video games, like at certain points, and I remember that I had to fight the boss fight for him, and I loved that game so freaking much. And then the last God of War was just amazing, and now whenever I saw the trailer for the PS5 stuff coming out, and then they put that at the tail end. I was
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
that was like it gave me goosebumps.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's pretty much all my questions for tonight, or the hour, or the session, whatever you want to call this, whenever it plays. I don't even know when it's playing. I'm sure we'll find out, and then I'll be like, oh my God, Rachel, shut up. But where can our viewers find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at VikingDad278. You can find my Days Gone blog at thebrokenroad.blog. And yeah.
Real quick, do you have anything in the works right now? Anything magical?
Always.
I assume you can't share.
Yes.
I assume it's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, nothing is Days Gone week extravaganza, but I'm always planning things, or always trying to plan things for the future.
Nice. You got some stuff up your sleeve.
Yeah,
Can't wait. Well, I guess that brings us to a close tonight, but thank you so much for having a chat with me. And thank you for anybody who's watching this. I feel sorry for you guys. You get stuck with me.
Yes, thanks for bringing me on. Thanks for asking for me to be a part of this extra life event. It's really cool. Sorry, everyone, if I talk way too much, and especially about Days Gone.
It's all good.
If you stuck around this long, thank you.
Yes. Well, stay tuned, because I don't think this is playing at the end. So stay tuned for some amazing content that's coming up, because there is so much more to come. Thank you guys again. I am Lady Snipeshot. This is the Gametographers and the VVPC. That's so many letters.
And make sure you donate to Extra Life.
Yes, please do, because it goes to a good cause, helping the kiddos. Again, thank you guys, and we will see you all later.
All right, you guys. Fantastic. Thanks, Broken Road. I see you. Kev, I see you. Lady Snipeshot, thank you. Guys, I'm going to switch it out because we've got waiting in the wings. I know why some of you guys are here. The Avengers Photo Mode team is going to be, well, not the whole team, but some of them are coming. Andy's here. Some of you guys just fell over like toys because, Disney. All right, we'll be right back.